Hello, welcome to Walpole United WFC.
Well, hello there. It is All for United WFC. Do not adjust your iPad or whatever device you have got in your hands right now. This is your surprise, ladies and gentlemen. I'm wearing black. Don't worry, John and Connor are still with us. They're just not here at the moment. We've relegated them to tech monkeys today, and instead the inmates are running the asylum. So here we are, the usual guests, and we'll just run around and see how everybody's doing. Ellie, how's things?
Hi, I'm brilliant. Thank you. Thank you for having me on again.
No, it's really good to have you. Good. And John, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm all good, thanks, Barry. Yeah, not bad at all. Thank you, mate.
Excellent. This is what we like to hear. And Andrew, in his trusty space in front of those curtains, how are you doing?
Yeah, all good, despite having to isolate because of COVID and all that.
That's a bit
all good.
On the plus side, at least you're not going to miss any football this weekend, eh?
Yeah, so it's a
positives. Brilliant. Well, it's great to have you all here. Good to see you all in the chat as well. Loads of stuff to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Ona. We're going to be talking about Carna. Probably throw Senior in there as well. A little bit of a chat about Emily Ramsey. All of that in the thumbnail. Ellie's got a fantastic question with regards to what's next season going to look like. How are we going to achieve, and who are we going to be bringing in? John is going to be having a little bit of a conversation about where we went wrong, shall we say, this season, and how we can fix that, do our little tweaks under the bonnet. And then Andrew will be finishing us off with some rather wonderful comments from Chelsea. But whilst we wait for that, the big news obviously at the moment was Ona and Senior. They are off on their travels to go and train, was what I believe they said. This has caused spread like wildfire. People are worried. Is Ona Batlle going to return to Manchester United, or is that the end of it? Are we never going to see her again? Senior, of course, training as well. I'll throw it around. I'm going to go slightly differently. They like to go around. I'm going to throw it about a little bit. So we're going to start down there, that way. That's it. Andrew, wherever you are, over there. How are you getting on? Tell me. On your Batlle, are we going to see her again?
It's a tough one. I just think, well, obviously United have let her, go and train with, if I remember rightly, Levante for the Euros. So it's all been agreed. Obviously, there's that option to extend her contract by another year. So if United are, well, depending on what Ona wants and United wants as well, two different things. If Ona wants to go, then obviously United would probably want some sort of fee out of it. So they would be inclined to, put that extension in for the 1 year. And obviously, Ona, she's very well thought of amongst the other players and amongst us fans, and say she's probably been one of the best fullbacks in the WSL this season. And they say if she was to go, it would be sad to see because I just think in terms of this summer for United and their transfers, it's a big one for Skinner as well. And I'm just thinking it might. I don't know whether who we bring in might show the intentions of how we're going to progress to Ona, and she say, well, look, I'll stay 1 more year, drive us to that Champions League places, and then if we do get it, she might go, well, I want to stay even more. So it's just, I think it's a bit of, I'm sort of undecided at the moment, just whether she's going to be here or not. I'm just like, I wanted to stay, but like I say, we wish her all the best if she did go, and then we can, like I say, look to find somebody else to come in and take her position. But I just think, it's a very interesting time to see what happens to Ona. So hopefully she does stay.
Absolutely. I was watching something. It's only a little 7-second thing from Asif Burnham, I think it was, on Twitter, and he's put on there literally just her saying, "We don't know what the future is. How am I supposed to tell you what the future holds?" A bit cryptic. I sort of wondered a little bit, would you not just go, yeah, I'm really happy there or not? But at the moment, she's at Levante. She's doing a bit of training. What do you think, John? Is that the last we've seen of Ona, or will she be back next season?
I'm not too sure either. When I read that on Twitter when it was on yesterday, I couldn't quite really decide what to make of it. Really, I read it a few times, and the more I read it, I thought it seemed more negative. It seemed to read, but perhaps I wasn't. You know, quite interpreting it properly. It did seem a little bit odd, I must say. But hopefully it's hopefully it ends up being a positive thing, and it's sort of might be signalling that she ends up staying with us for another year at least.
Absolutely, and there's some great comments going in there. I think Rian's just put it in there that he's not too worried about her. Ian's also put that he doesn't think her going to train necessarily reflects her desire to stay. I 100% agree with you. That makes complete sense. At the end of the day, you've got the Euros coming up. Just shows what professionals I think Ona and Senior actually are, that they want to go and train still. They want to remain as fit as they possibly can, rather than going and having it large in Ibiza or something for a couple of weeks before, a really big tournament. So that's how I would see it. How would you see it, Ellie?
So I'm with you. That post the other day was a bit. I didn't know what to think of it at first. I was like, because everyone kept panicking, like, oh yeah, they're going straight away. But then it said there was only training, so I thought possible it could be like they'll come back, Ona might stay. But you see, do you know what, at Chelsea game, I looked closely to the players who came over to us all, and maybe had that more time with us. And half of me thought Ona did that. Ona kind of stayed with us for a bit longer at the end of the game. So, to be honest, I don't know really. If she goes, she goes. But like what's been said, we need to pay a fee for her if she goes, because we don't want to let her go on free, or we need to bring someone in who's just like her. Because if we lose her and we don't get anyone in, that's it. We've lost talent. Because Ona is such a good talent, and I'm seeing that this season properly. So half of me thinks she will go, but then the other half think she'll stay because on an Instagram post what she did as well, I think she's done a picture of her and then an emoji, and then people thought, oh, she's staying. But then I think everyone's changed their mind because I've seen that picture on Twitter. But it's really odd, I think. It really is odd how we've done it, but I'm half and half, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it does seem a little bit odd, but then equally, as we've said as well, it's just training, and it's Levante. If she's going to go, I can't see her going specifically to Levante personally, as being the place. That doesn't feel like a step up to me. But there we go. That's my minuscule knowledge of Spanish women's football there. So, okay, we've got Ona there. Do we think there's been a lot of narrative, I think, going around the club at the moment about lots of players potentially leaving and not signing their contracts? By the same token, are we all, simple question, do we all agree, is there any such thing as a player being bigger than the club? Is it one of those situations where we've got an Ona and actually we're not feeling confident we've got any other right backsmen to keep them, but equally what we don't want to be doing is being in a situation where we're stockpiling players? What do we think? Are we in a situation like that, Andrew?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I just think, we don't want to be stockpiling players for the sake of it. I mean, there is going to be players leaving and incomings too, but I think like Ona, I just think if her heart's she's decided she wants to leave United, then that's all. We'll wish her all the best, and we need to look for other players that can fulfil that role. But as I say, it's going to be an important. As I said earlier, important summer for Erskine and the women's team. Can we keep our best talent? Can we, those players that we bring in, can we offer them the platform to succeed and obviously, play on the highest level as well? I mean, we've obviously, I think back at the end of last year, we managed to secure Ella Toon to a new long-term contract, but the same approach is going to be applied to those players that are already still there as well, like Russo, Turner, even Jackie Gronan as well, and Ona herself. So it's the summer's going to be an interesting one to say the least. It's like, obviously, I think the way it works from what I've seen in the WSL, all the departures are announced first, and then then essentially the transfer window begins, and then looking to see who comes in. So it's like those are my thoughts on that.
I think it's a tough one. And John, again, back to you. Same question, really. Ona, we know, is one of the best right backs currently playing probably in the world, not just in the WSL. Is it one of those where if we want to be, I know we're going to be getting to your question in a bit, but if we want to be progressing, we need to keep our best players, playing devil's advocate. We can't just throw these players away just because they want to go. Maybe, we do have to keep those players that we know are going to benefit the team.
Yeah, obviously we'd all love her to stay. Of course we would. It'd be a huge loss if she did end up leaving. But it's like you were saying about the player over club thing. If she's decided that, or if she does decide that she wants to leave, then it's you've just got to accept it and move on. There's not really much point keeping somebody, or trying to keep somebody that doesn't want to be there. You've just got to, like I say, move on and try and replace them with somebody as good or possibly better, if that's possible, really.
Very true. And Ellie, your thoughts?
And I think we'd love Ona to stay here. We really would. Like, I would as well. But sometimes I think if she wants to go, let her go, because like what's been said, like, we don't want to keep someone who doesn't want to be at the club, if you know what I mean, because then that will make them just feel, pressured to stay there. So I think what my think is, if we let some players go, we need to bring in some new ones who just like Ona, because you can't keep, like I say, you can't keep him at the club if they really don't want to be here anymore. So what we need to do is bring in all these new players, potentially. That I'm not saying that can be better than her, but the same level, and then we can succeed. But I'd love to keep all our best players. I really would. But someday they'll leave, won't they? So we can't all be like disheartened over it. But it would be such a shame to see her go if she does go. That's all I'm saying.
Fair point. I'm just going to point out here, TJ's just had a comment put up there. Barca stands trolling us with #FreeOna. Now, I'm not having
that today.
How am I in a situation where I've spent the last 3 months trying to get #Hansen in, and now we got this coming up? What's going on? #FreeOna. I've written it down. I don't know if you can read it there. Ona is a free elf. She is free. She can make whatever decision she wants to make. Right. Moving on from that one, Lanzel had a superb question. It's almost like he's read the script. And that question was a very simple one. And I believe the tech monkeys are working hard backstage. There it is. Questions for everyone on the panel. Do you think we would bring Bruun back to the club another season loan? Now, we've had this conversation a little bit. We've spoken a lot about Senior Bruun. We're talking about players being too big for the club, but also players that we might bring in. Senior's a big one, right? She's gone back to her parent club. She's training with Leon at the moment. John, are we going to get her back? Do we need her back? Is there somebody else who you've got in mind that you think you might bring in instead? Is it worth another punt to see the best out of her? Because we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I think it's worth another shot. Like I say, we didn't see much of her this season at all, really. What with injuries and one or two other issues, I think. So, I think if she's available again, then I would definitely go for her, and get her back in again. And I think if she was here with a proper pre-season, everything under her with us, then I think we'd probably see a different player next season.
I think we saw flashes, didn't we, in the few games that she played. There was that superb shot from about 40, 50 yards out that if we had gone in, I think we're all having a different conversation, and potentially so are Leon at the end of the season as to whether or not it's a loan or we'd have to cough up some money for her. But Ellie, your thoughts?
Well, I'd love to see her stay because we've not seen the best out of her yet. And that's what I've been telling everyone. I'd love to see her stay, but then that Instagram post the other day as well, I thought, is she going? Because then she tagged some of us fans and then thought, is she actually going now? But you see, we've just not seen the best out of her yet. So I'd love to see her in pre-season come back for us and potentially we'll see the best out of her. That's what I think.
And do you know what? It's not just you. It's not just you, John. I think there's lots of people here. Stuart's asking if Bruun's out of contract. I don't think she is. I think she'd still be under contract at Lyon. But then having said that, I know that Skinner has said that we'll be one of the people in contention to get her. So she very well might be. TJ said, well, you all know the adage about it taking a foreign player a year to get used to the WSL. So, potentially that could be something as well. And I think Lanzell as well has put that we need to see more. I think that's the thing, isn't it? I think we all just feel just a little bit cheated, don't we, Andrew, that we haven't had the chance to see whether or not Senior was going to be amazing, because she came after much fanfare. I mean, Twitter went crazy, and it's just a bit of a damp squib, really, the amount of time we've had to see her. Do you think?
Yeah, I was to say, we never really got to see the very best of her. I think, just had niggly little injuries that just prevented her from playing even more games, and I think it just would have been good to have her in some of those games where we were struggling to break down sides. I'm just thinking of like the Aston Villa away game where it's like we could have done with something like seen her in the side as well. But I know Skinner says they're having conversations about Bruun and they'll continue to go on, and I just think, well, just want to see her, get back into some form as well. So obviously the Euros are coming up as well. So I don't know whether Skinner's looking at more of a permanent deal or just, say, is it worth another season-long loan and just seeing, seeing what potentially she could do. I think if she was to come back, then it'll be. I don't want necessarily she'll be, always in the starting 11, because obviously you got Russo, Thomas, and Galton, that front three, whether she'd be just more, in between that rotation. Like some games she might start, or some games she might come off from the bench. So it'll be, and I think that's what we kind of need that for next season, more squad depth, because obviously towards the second half of the season, some injuries are there, hampered us a little bit. So, but she would be a good addition to having the side for next season if Skinner feels like she can add a lot to the side as well.
Absolutely. I don't know what Sang's playing out there, throwing things like Ona to Cobham on. I thought ham cob was something that you could get up north. I think we should have one of those. Much better, much tastier. Maybe with a dash of mustard. That'd be lovely. And speaking of mustard, another player that was mustard for us as we did so well with our development squad was Carna Solskjaer. And it's just devastating news. There's like a dagger to the heart finding out that Carna has gone to pastures new. Now she's gone to a place called AAFK Fortuna. I did a little bit of research. No, not like me at all. And actually, it was a mergence of two teams. It was Fortuna to begin with, and in 2017 and 2018 they won the second division. But it's a bit like our lower leagues. They then had to face a playoff, which they lost both times. COVID got involved, but they then merged with another team called AAFK, and that's why they're AAFK Fortuna. And it sounds like they've been promoted this year. So potentially they're going to be in the first division. So if that's the case, and that's where they end up, Carna, let's be honest, was she going to be we weren't going to be sitting there saying, let's have Carna instead of Senior, for example. And you would argue that Maria Edwards is probably first in line for that shot up front. So what do we think about Carna? Is that a good move for Carna? What do we think? And also, I saw a brilliant response to a comment, which is that it might not even just be about football. If Ollie's left Manchester United now and he's thinking of going back to Norway with his wife, that's where the family live. Does Carna really want to, at her age, be living over here in the United Kingdom? Maybe she wants to be back at home with her family. So does that filter into it at all? Ellie, what do you think?
I think it's will be the best move for her. I'm gutted that she's gone really because I've never seen that much of her either this season because I've only been to 2 Debs games, but she's played brilliant in them. But then again, I think this can be another step for her now. She can play brilliantly over there. I know it's permanent now, but maybe one day she'll come back to us and be like the best striker ever. That's what I generally think. I put it on Twitter. I said it's a shame she's gone, but then again, you've got to think of it like that could be a learning curve for her. She could start every game and then come back to us brighter than ever. But then again, like you just said, it could be about family as well. Because how old is she? She's only 18, 19. She don't want to be living over there on her own if her family's over there. So I think she'll get the best out of it over there and then come back to us better than ever. That's what I think.
I find it hard to disagree with much of what you said there. TJ's not a fan. Well, maybe not a fan. Maybe that's a bit harsh. He might be a fan of Carna, but he thinks there's other people that are in the front of the queue there. Thinks Carrie Jones deserves more of a shot than any of our devs. And Carrie, forgive me if I've got this wrong, but she was only recently promoted, wasn't she, from the devs this year? So I think she had a bit of a chance at the beginning of the season and wasn't quite given as many chances towards the end when lots of people were asking for it. Oh, hello, go. Say again.
I see her going on loan, I think, this summer. I don't know why. It's just she didn't have enough game time in our first team because there's always competition there. So I think she'll move to on loan to I don't know, Leicester or something. That's what I personally think anyway. That she'll
Absolutely.
go out.
All reasonable points, I think, to be fair. Andrew, what's your thoughts on the whole Carna Solskjaer thing? What's the inside scoop?
I think I feel like it's a bit of both with Carna. I just think one is, it's taking the next step in her career, and I just think maybe she might have been a little bit homesick as well. I'm just thinking if her dad being Ollie, and I was thinking there's probably, when he was relieved his duties as United manager, obviously he stayed because she was still here. So I just think they thought maybe at the end of the season, deciding to move back to Norway together. I mean, she's had definitely finished United on a good note as well, scoring about, I think it was 15 goals this season, winning the Academy Cup and then, the league title as well. So I just think I wish her all the best, and obviously gutted that she decided to leave. And I just think, we at least got to see her in the first team in that FA Cup tie against Bridgewater, and obviously everybody was saying, well, is it because of her dad that she got in? But Skinner said no, it was not, her token gesture for Ghana. It was the deserved debut for her, and she says, obviously she's got a famous dad, but she's famous in her own right as well. So, and I just think I hope to see Carna Solskjaer back one day, and then if she wants to come back, and then she can be a United legend and in her own right. But I think it's probably maybe the right move for her at this time because she's only 19 years old, and she's like maybe she wants to go home, experience the leagues over in Norway, and then get that experience, and then the world is her oyster after that.
Absolutely, the world would definitely be our lobster. You are not wrong. Connor Roberts, don't know if you've heard him, fan of the show. He's put if Hansen can't get game time, but I can't see any of the devs at the moment, especially if we sign a few in the summer, which, to be fair, is a pretty reasonable point. I've got to say, but at the moment, my comment of the moment was Mr. John Commode. He was just up there a second ago, saying we've already said that these devs are too good for their league, and some of them do need to go to the next level. Perhaps it was agreed with Ollie should play until the end of the season before going back to Norway. So, John, do you agree with John?
Yeah, I think it might be maybe Ollie's perhaps got a job lined up over there, perhaps. So maybe that's why they're all making the move back to Norway. But I think there's every chance that Carna might, come back to us perhaps when she's a bit older and learn to trade a bit more. If she has the potential, she might she might come back to us in the future. Hopefully, it'd be good to see that, definitely.
Absolutely. I've got to say, I think John's spot on with that one. Both Johns, actually. And I do. I think that as far as I'm concerned for Carna, we wish her well. She's done exceptionally well. But we are in a really tough situation now where if we're going to strengthen the team, it's going to struggle to get anybody else in there, especially if we're buying new players as well. So that's going to be really tough. But of course, one such player who has already had all of this game time, which we've been talking about, and loads of experience, is a certain Rambo. Rambo Returns. I'm not entirely sure if that's one of the film titles. But what I do know is that she's had a good season. She's had a lot of game time. Once again, I did myself a little bit of research, and she played 17 games overall in Cup and League for Birmingham City, conceding 35 goals, keeping 3 clean sheets against Arsenal, Everton and Aston Villa. I'm not including the clean sheet for the game where she was sent off after 26 minutes, even though she hadn't conceded. But I did include that in one of the games that she played. So that was hers. By contrast, Manchester United in the WSL with Mary Earps played 22, conceded 22. So we're talking about Ramsey in the squad. I've got a double-edged question. Question number 1, do you see, and I think I know what the universal answer to this question will be, but it's worth asking, do we see Ramsey coming in and challenging Earps for the number 1 spot at any point next season? And if not challenging Earps, can we see a place for her in the squad? Is Sophie Batlle going to be in some trouble? We've seen her do some great stuff in the cup games that she played in, but would we think that Emily Ramsey has got the experience now over Batlle and therefore might go ahead in the pecking order in terms of goalkeepers? What's our thoughts there? Mr. Neville, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I think she's had a good season really at Birmingham. I'd like to see her make a push, try and push the other two getting into the first team squad. But I still think that Earps and Batlle still probably got a bit too much experience and quality over Ramsey at the moment. Although I would like to see Ramsey perhaps get a chance in some of the cup games, maybe. But I think she's still going to have a work cut out to push either of those two out, I think.
Absolutely. And Ellie, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with Wanzo there. It's what we do with baggers, because we see her in the cup games and she does play really good in the cup games. So I think it'll be a challenge for her to get back in. But in the pre-season, I'd love to see Rambo back and see what she's actually like, because that's what me and Sophie and Mary have the experience. They've played with us all season. But then again, I'd love to see what Ramsey can do. See if she can challenge Batlle and then maybe take that second spot. Because I'm not being unfair or anything, but she can't overdo Mary at the minute. Mary's playing exceptional forward, I think, especially this season she has. So no one can take Mary's spot, I don't think, but it's between Sophie and Rambo, and I think Sophie's just got that more experience, I think. So who knows? I think she'll go back on loan again.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And some more fair points in there. Stuart Beatty thrown in there. We got 4 goalkeepers. You're not wrong. I think that says a lot. The fact that this one, I think, does get forgotten, actually overlooked quite a bit in Fran Bentley. Not somebody who's really mentioned in the same bracket as Rambo and Batlle. And another one that Lanzel's brought up, of course, talking about the devs, is Safia. So we are in a situation where it's almost like midfielders. We've just got an absolute plethora of them. Surely some of these are going to be departing at the end of this season. Can we justify really I'm not saying it's going to be thousands of pounds, but can we justify the wages that are being paid on these additional players if we know that Earps is going to be number 1 and she's going to be between the sticks, whatever happens? and that then we've just got backups really who we've got to try and battle for game time in cup competitions. Andrew, what say you?
I was going to say, yeah, I just don't think we're going to have keeping 4 goalkeepers next season. I just think that'd be a little bit wrong on, the 2 that, just left there not getting much game time at all, even if it was just cup games. I mean, for Emily Ramsey, I'm just thinking she put in some impressive performances despite Birmingham getting relegated. I mean, obviously the high points, the clean sheets against Brighton and the one against Arsenal where, Birmingham got the win to the surprise of everybody in the WSL. So, and I just think it all depends on Sophie Batlle as well. I know she's been getting some game time in the cup games, but whether she wants more game time now and whether she feels like she wants to go out on loan and get, that first team experience. And then if that was the case, then Ramsey could then be the backup to Mary Earps. As Ellie said, no one's going to, take the place of Mary Earps at the moment. She's just been in fine form all season, so hopefully she's carrying that into next season as well. But yeah, and obviously mentioned there's Fran Bentley as well, and I just think just don't want to be like, say, keeping players here for the sake of, what's the word, stockpiling, and just not giving them, rather, send them out on loan or, even if it's a permanent transfer, at least they're getting game time. You don't want to restrict a player, in what they can do. So I just think Skinner will look at it, and I think he might just go keep Mary and Sophie, and then whether Ramsey goes out on loan. I think Fran Bentley would probably one of the players that will get sold, but it's an interesting one with Ramsey.
You see, but so when I went to go and see Rambo at the City and Birmingham game, when I asked her, I said, "Oh, you're coming back to United?" She seemed really happy about that. But then again, that's what I mean. We don't know because she might go back on loan, but she seemed really happy about that. She's coming back to United.
It all depends. Yeah, all depends.
Yeah.
What obviously Mark Skinner's been keeping in constant contact, so he might have said, "Well, these are my plans," and she's maybe said, or somewhere she's involved, or it depends. All depends what's been said to between the manager and the player as well.
No, I'm with you all on that one. I think when it's a tough one, Bentley was loaned out, wasn't she? And she was loaned out to Bristol City this year. She was loaned out before that to Blackburn Rovers, to Sheffield United, generally to lower tier opposition. Whereas, obviously, Rambo's been sent out to Birmingham, which was WSL opposition. And I think for Skinner, it comes down to why we bothered to send her out on loan. Got no plans for her. If it's not just for experience, then maybe you want to sell her. So I do wonder. I do wonder if the idea is, can she hack it at the WSL level? And if she can, we bring Rambo in, and maybe Bagley's the one that gets shipped out along with Bentley. And maybe that was the plan all along. Who knows? Maybe we're all entirely wrong. But I think the one thing we'll definitely agree on is that Mary Earps will remain number 1 at Manchester United for as long as she wants the contract. I think would be the obvious solution on that one. So, okay, good points, everyone. And with that in mind, we now move over to young Ellie. I think it's time for you to introduce your topic of the day. So, dazzle us all. The mic is yours.
So, my topic is, which players are we going to bring in? And then, I think we've always talked about which players might depart. So, for me, which players will we bring in? Because I've seen, is it Lucia Garcia? She might be coming. So, I want as well someone to challenge Tuna to make her better. Because I think since Bruun's come in, Russo's got a lot better, I think. Because they're all challenging for the same spot. So I think Russo's done really good this season. So I want to bring someone in who can challenge Tuna, because then she can be even better. So what your guys' thoughts? Who's coming in?
Well, it's a great question. I've got to admit, this is where I fall down massively, because my knowledge of players outside of Man United is pretty poor, let alone outside the WSL. But I think we can extrapolate that a little bit as well, maybe to, are there any positions in particular, like Ellie's just mentioned, that we think we particularly need to strengthen? and where we particularly need a bit of backup or a bit of depth. So, John, let's throw to you first. Any ideas on your side?
Yeah, well, I suppose the main thing is up top, striker. Personally, I think I'd still like to see somebody like Beth England come in, but I think it's probably been a bit too ambitious. I can't see Chelsea still wanting to let her go. And then the other obviously main concern I think is probably at the defence, certainly central defence. We don't seem to be having much luck with injuries in that department, so I think we're going to have to be a bit of looking at a bit of recruitment there, because obviously we're still a bit in the dark with Millie Turner whether she's going to be available next season with this unusual problem that she's got, and obviously with the Ona situation as well, we might be looking at fullback as well, possibly.
I think so. And John, Andrew, sorry, we just spoken to John. Andrew, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think
because John's on the screen, that's why.
Yeah, right. I think Skinner's already made it clear where his targets lie in the transfer window. I think there's a need for like a centre back, a central midfielder, a number 10, even a wide forward, and a striker as well. So I think for Skinner, I think the club have got to make a positive investment during the transfer window, making sure Skinner, get on the squad, get the additions that mean we can challenge from, the beginning to the end of the season. I mean, the past 2 seasons of, the squad depth, it's been not quite there, and we've been hit by, troublesome injuries, and it's sort of taken toll with the results. So, and obviously Skinner, you can see that at the end of the Chelsea game, is like, I'm now focused on what's ahead, and he wants to say fix what's coming up ahead. So let's say in terms of my knowledge of the players outside, United is a bit lacking, so that's why I'm looking forward to watching the Women's Euros, seeing potentially which players might be coming to United as well. So let's say, I think we need players to come in and challenge those that are already there. So everybody's fighting for their place. So that's what we want, competition.
Yeah, I think you're looking at quite a few in terms of numbers, quality players. If we're going to be challenging top 3 or even sort of first, second against the other 3 teams up there, I think you're talking quite a few incomings really to just so we can match up with those properly, I think.
So those the players we're getting, some of the results we've had, turning some of those draws into wins, that way we can be like, if we had done that this season, we could have been easily secure 3rd place, or I think it was if we'd secure, those draws that have become wins, I think we'd have had 12 points more, and then we could have easily been challenging Chelsea on the final day for the title. So yeah, it's going to be see which players can come in and push United even further and progress even more.
For sure. There's been some interesting points being mentioned already in the comments there. Stuart Beatty wants a central defender, 2 strikers and winger. It doesn't seem to be fussed whether we get them from Waitrose or Aldi, just as long as we've got some of those. I hope we're shopping in the competitive market, so Lanzel's definitely going for Waitrose. And John, again, agreeing with you, Ellie. A lot of people agreeing with you today, Ellie. Russo's been superb, absolutely brilliant. We need players which challenge. Lucia Garcia will be a good one, plus someone to challenge Galton. I need a strong midfielder too. I'm not content with the 9 million midfielders that are currently on the roster. So quite a few things there. TJ Trex wants to nick some of the Everton players. Lanzel's mentioned a load of people that I've never heard of, but he has also mentioned Maya Letitia, who I believe got player of the season for her club as well. So that was pretty good. Wish list time now. I'm going to give you one. If you could pick any player in the WSL to join Manchester United over the summer, So you rub your little lamp, and out comes a genie and says you can have one player, and they have to sign a contract with you. Who's it going to be? John.
Well, I'll go with who I just mentioned earlier. I'll go with Beth England, I think.
That's why I started with you, because I thought it was going to be that. But it also gave the other two valuable thinking time to just get themselves through that. Ellie, what say you?
Miedema.
Miedema. That
Yeah.
would be good, because then if we got Bruno, we could actually have a proper competition to see if Bruno could outscore Miedema. That would be
That's exactly
like you're
it.
thinking. Top thoughts. And Andrew?
Let's say, I don't think it ever would happen, but considering how I saw her play on the final day of the season, Sam Kerr, I just think she just changed the game for Chelsea, and I'm just thinking that's the extra bit of quality we need. So, but Chelsea would probably, never let her go, or if they were to, they'd be like, well, we want X, Y, and Z for her, and whether
You know what we need to do for that, don't you? We need to visualise. If we all just collectively, there's how many people? There are 8 watching now at the moment, I can see on there. So if those 8 and us 4, if we all just visualise Sam Kerr in a Manchester United women's top, and it'll come true. We'll see her there scoring the goals for Manchester United women. That's what we need to do. So hashtag visualise Sam Kerr for United. And who knows? Who knows what can happen?
Some of the City players are out of contract now as well, aren't they? That's what I've seen today on Twitter. I think, Stanway is apparently.
Stanway, yeah. She's out
Yeah.
of contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think I would take a Stanway, and I would definitely take a Hemp for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I think in terms of places, defence, 100%. Defence needs a little bit more depth. I think that's where we were shown up this year. We didn't quite have the defence, and as a result, we gave away quite a few dodgy results, which leads us beautifully into Mr. Neville's topic for today. So, lead us into it, young John.
So I was basically thinking about what we need to do differently, or where we need to improve to, avoid these sort of slip-ups against the lesser teams, and also where we're sort of going wrong in like these games against the bigger teams, where we seem to implode a bit at times and end up conceding several goals in a short space of time. I'm just wondering what everybody thinks, that if it's like a mentality thing or a tactics thing, or whether it's just that we need better players, really.
Okay, let's open the floor to you. We'll let you, Andrew, start, if you don't mind. What do you think?
I think it's one or two things. Firstly, one is recruitment, but I think second, the experience the players have had, with these like games where we should probably we've been in the lead and should have won, or and then ended up drawing. I think like for some of the players, like it's keeping that concentration and making better decisions in those individual key moments. I just think the Chelsea game on the final day, like the second half, it was like you knew Chelsea were going to come out straight away and just be on the attack so quick, and it's almost like you need to like temper Chelsea's like speed and attack as well. So you need to, maybe that will come through the recruitment, better players, coming through and like with that experience saying this is what we need to do, against the likes of Chelsea, City or Arsenal. I think let's say from positions in last season, we've dropped, I think, 12 points from winning positions in 6 games. Obviously, there was that game against Tottenham away, and then the West Ham one as well, where we conceded a late equaliser. But also, I think we managed to take in those 12 extra points. As I said earlier, we'd have been the ones fighting with Chelsea. But I think Skinner knows the areas he wants to boost the depth, which United haven't quite had as well. And obviously injuries have not played their part a bit. And I just think, yes, we've made progress, and I can say it's been a good season, but we don't have to, settle for 4th every season. We want to be, challenging for those Champions League places. And at some point, is a upsetting the apple cart and actually, challenging for the WSL title ourselves.
No, absolutely.
I was going to say, as Skinner said, the fire has been lit, so let's make it a huge flame next season.
We need to fan those flames for sure. And I think I've written a couple of things down. Speed I know has been mentioned quite a bit. That was just mentioned in the comments from TJ saying that Marty brought that up. He's called it a critical flaw, which I think in a hospital would be a very bad thing. And what he's saying there is that we lack speed compared to the big three. So I don't know what people think on that. Are we lacking speed? But also are we lacking some sort of strength? Is there almost like the Roy Keane type figure, or even a Stanley perhaps, someone who's maybe likely to get into it a bit more, break up, play a bit more, because it took 50 seconds for Chelsea to come out and equalise. And yes, there might, and if you think about what happened to Russo, I said there might have been a foul on her, but whether there was or whether there wasn't, it was that little bit of strength. They won the ball off of her. She had the possession, and it was from that the second goal sprung. So what do you think, Ellie? What is it that we're missing? Why is it that we are conceding those goals?
Lack of experience, because you see them top three teams, they've got it all. They've got all the experience. We've not. We're just a young side, really. With a couple good players that can potentially help us out, like Tooney and everyone. But see, we need another Sam Kerr basically on our team. That's what we're doing for us. And I think sometimes I've said this, from what we need to do is always score early on, because sometimes that boosts us like right until the final whistle. Because if we don't score early on, that's it. Our mentality goes, and then our moods are just everywhere, and then we just pass the ball, and then they win it back. Like I think Aston Villa 0-0 draw, that could have easily been defeated. We could have easily won that. A few good challenges and a few good chances, but the pass back, that's what annoys me. They need to pass forward more. I think it's because they get too scared that they're going to get it off them, but they need to pass forward more and make sure that they give the attackers something to be scared about. I think mostly we just missing the lack of experience like them top three teams have. And then if we in the summer get someone in, that's it. Then we could potentially get, I don't know, win WSL next season, or even in the top three, because we literally just missed it because of Chelsea. We played fantastic in the first half against them, and then like you said, that's it. Then Chelsea came out second. Sam Kerr. We need someone like Sam Kerr in our team, or another version of her.
Yeah, I think you might well be right there. I think it's a really, really tough one. That, I mean, we've all watched it as we have dropped points in places where we wouldn't have wanted to. The Spurs game, that free kick, it's something that you always taught to do, to put it at the far post, and that's exactly what they did, and it just bounced in because it wasn't dealt with. I think you're right. It's a mixture of naivety, it's a mixture of recruitment, and all of those sorts of things. But Lanzel's just put in here, could the club just put 5 million aside and say, go and get what you want? Just do a madness in the market. That's what I want. And I'm going to throw this back to you, John. 5 million in the grand scheme of things for Manchester United Football Club is like me asking you if I can borrow a fiver. It's not a grand amount of money. But when you then consider what a difference that could make to the football club, he's not really wrong, is he?
No, not at all. No, it's a drop in the ocean, really, compared to what gets thrown about in men's football. I don't know if there's some sort of regulations in place or anything like that restricts them from doing that sort of thing or anything. But you think really, if you start, if they did that, you could create a bit of a super team, really. It'd be fantastic, but obviously it doesn't look as if it's going to be forthcoming, unfortunately.
No. So, was there anything in particular that you think we need to do in order to stop losing these points as we did against Arsenal and West Ham?
we just need that bit more nous of managing games, I think, and I think some of that comes with experience. But as well, as you mentioned earlier, we probably just sometimes need that be a little bit more physical and in the opposition's faces a little bit. I think, we think sometimes we're just perhaps a little bit too honest, maybe at times. Whereas we, like say, when you're in these tight games, you perhaps sometimes just need that little bit of as I think it was Connor said in the comments about the dark arts to get us over the line.
Yeah, you're not wrong. There's lots of them there. Sound like me, Zoe said there with the dark arts win a game. Some of the other things we've got there. At worst, we need to add players that we might lose, says TJ. But ideally, we had new and better talents. As we said, recruitment is going to be quite a big thing. Lanzel's shocked at the thought of Georgia Stan at United. Could you imagine it? I could. I think it would be hilarious and brilliant. Tooney signing a 5-year deal. We must have a plan. We all know Emma Hayes wants her. Well, she can't have her. And I think Leslie has the quality to become a double-digit scorer. I think we all think that, 100%. If she carries on, she could 100% do that. John, I think, has fallen asleep and started dreaming. He's like, we need to start battering teams, like scoring 7 or 8 and score more when we're on top. He's not wrong. But I'd settle for just scoring 1 and keeping it at the moment if I go the Arsenal route. Boring Arsenal. And just a little shout out as well to Sporty Chatbox, who's catching up on tonight's show. He thinks, based on the things we've already looked at, if a player wants to go, it's all about obtaining the best deal possible for the club. So very much agreeing with what we said, that the club is bigger than the player. With regards to Senior, he reckons that he'd ask Leon for a full season loan to give her the opportunity to do what she can. Some overseas players need time to settle in. So good to see he's catching up on that one. And we shall see what he's got to say about the rest of it, hopefully, before the end of the show. I'll keep you all updated. But we have, I think, covered an absolute mountain of ground so far. And we're going to finish with this particular topic. And that's from you, young Andrew. So take it away, Sancho.
Yeah, it's just whether we're going to see more home and away designated sections in the WSL next season. It's just picking up on comments made by Chelsea manager Emma Hayes, on the FA Cup final, saying, because obviously it's going to be a Chelsea and City end, but also a large majority will be mixed. And she said some nice things about us United fans. She said, I think she said us fans are unreal. She said they really are. And she told her skin, he said, your fans are like our fans, very vocal, and you get lots of numbers. So, and said, she's all for designated sections. And I think that's what we need, that rivalry, in the game becoming more vocal. And you say, and she said, I think Mehay said, we've got to be conscious to build those rivalries as well. So I don't know whether we will see more, section home and away sections, because I know we had it at City away and then Chelsea, and also the Villa away game. Us United fans sort of created our own away section anyway. So I don't know whether we're going to see more of that, because obviously, if it's going to be like that, we could just buy the tickets directly for the away games directly from United, rather than having to go likes of Chelsea or like Brighton the tickets. So I'm just thinking, are we just going to see it for like the bigger games with Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, or do you think it's going to happen? Are we going to see it more with other teams in the WSL where we get the home and away sections?
Absolutely. So I think there's a lot of things to take from that. I think the first thing I'd say from Emma Hayes there, with what she said about being very vocal and being like our fans. Well, I will give Chelsea credit in so far as saying, in the games I've been to so far, that was the closest one that I saw there really be any to and fro in from both sets of fans. But I do have to be honest, for a team that was winning the league, I don't know if they're just bored of doing it or what, but they really didn't seem all that excited at the end of it. Certainly not like we would have been. But it wasn't just Emma Hayes. I read what Sam Kerr had said at the end of the match as well, and she said exactly the same thing. She said it was the best game she's taken part in at Kings Meadow. And again, she gave kudos to the Man United fans, saying, how loud we sung and how much better we made that atmosphere for her to be in as well. I think the players want it. The club should want it. The fans want it. nobody wants to be having to sign up to Arsenal or Chelsea or Birmingham City or Edgbaston or anywhere else to be getting your tickets. You just want to get a ticket and be in the away end. But again, the devil's advocate bit, is it too soon? If people have got to open up that and pay stewards, is the game self-functioning enough to be able to afford those things? These are all things that have been mentioned on shows recently. Ellie, you've been in away ends, you've been in home ends, you've been in home ends where we've been kicked out and put into different places, but not in an away end. You've seen it all. What do you think?
See, I think we need these away ends, right? Because they create that much of a better atmosphere. Like the Chelsea game away, we could literally, we started throwing everything back at them, and they was throwing everything back at us, and we felt safe because we was in our away section. You see, if we did that with everyone mixed together, that wouldn't be a good thing, would it? Because that'll start loads of fights and then everything. I reckon say one of the worst experiences I had was at Reading, when we got told to sit somewhere, then we got told to move right to the top. We need our own away section because it wasn't good how everyone was rude to us all. They told us to stand up, move, and shut up and everything. But they all just looked at us like, "Why are you singing? Why are you singing?" It's like they've never experienced it. So these away ends are so good, and it'll be special for us. Like on Chelsea, them goals, because we was all cheering for United. They were the special moments, I think. We don't want to be in a mixture of other fans if they score. We don't want to be like that. We want our own away section. But you see, people are saying other clubs might not bring that many fans or bring that many fans. But you know what? I think this is what we need to step forward because women's football is growing and growing now, I think. So these away sections will bring everyone more together as well. More of us fans together.
Absolutely. I think I'd struggle to disagree. Go on, carry on.
Like, I don't know the City game because I didn't know where our youth was sat, so I had to sit at the bottom in the middle of our City fans, and that's not how it should be, really. Like, you can't like keep logging on to loads of these clubs' websites just to get a ticket. It's ridiculous because it takes like 50 years just to sign up. So
absolutely,
we need it from United's page and go and get it straight away.
Couldn't agree with you more. And I think, you mentioned as well when you were buying the tickets for the Chelsea game, obviously you went straight out there to buy them because you didn't want it to sell out. And of course it was in the wrong place because, we're fortunate enough, all four of us, I would think, that we know people, Natalie, within the Barmy Army. So it's quite easy to ask, whereabouts are we going to be sitting? But that problem, not a lot of people are going to do that. And I think when you consider the noise that was coming out of that away section at Chelsea, it's no coincidence. People are a lot more likely to join in and sing when they are in a bunch of people that are already singing, rather than if you're sat a few rows down and you've got some other rival fans around you, you're not feeling like you're going to stand up and start singing, let's see Russo. It's not going to happen, is it? Because you're going to have people looking at you, unless, of course, you're like Isabel. It's not going to happen. Not many people would consider doing that. Andrew will vouch for me when we were at the last game at Old Trafford, against West Ham. I was trying to sing a little bit under my voice, but it wasn't loud, was it? Because you feel a little bit self-conscious. John, what do you think? Away ends?
Yeah, I agree with everything everybody else has said. Really, it makes it a much more enjoyable experience having a proper away end. I went to the City away game, and we were all in like sort of one corner together there, and it was a fantastic atmosphere, I thought, and you could hear it at the Chelsea game on Sunday as well. It just creates for a better experience all round. It looks better from the fans' perspective, and it looks better, I think, on the for the TV coverage as well. It sort of gives them something to show as well, and has been discussed. The players really enjoy it as well, I think, and they appreciate it. They enjoy all the songs and everything that goes off. So hopefully it'll continue. I just don't, like I say, it's just really making it more accessible and easier to buy the tickets more than anything. I think that's going to be the main hurdle of getting that sorted out, really.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need these away sections for Liverpool, but anyway, Liverpool in a new season. Because if we're in the middle of all them Liverpool fans, that is it. That is it. All these fights will happen.
That'd be awkward for sure. For sure. Andrew, I just wanted to throw it back to you just to complete that particular section. I mentioned about, is it too soon for some clubs? And, with the away end, United are going to fill it. City probably won't. Chelsea might. What do you think? Is it a proper financial worry for some clubs? And could we just get away with just even having, if you're opening one stand, that you just say, well, this block is going to be, designated from the Manchester United fans and the other blocks are all for home fans? Or is it a case of giving people the option? What do you think is the sensible option going forward for the topic you've just introduced?
I think it's all about giving people the option. I just think it's people keep asking for it, and these clubs can see it. Well, it's almost like give the people what they want. Let's say if us fans that go, we're very vocal, like some other teams are as well. I'm just thinking, I remember a comment made by Mario saying, our fans being registered, I'd hate to be playing against it because, we just, singing for 90 odd minutes, So, yeah, I just think, I don't know whether we're going to see it all next season. It might be coming over the next few seasons, but it'd be nice to see, clubs engage and say, look, for the likes of, us that want the away tickets, Tottenham or Villa or West Ham saying, we'll give so many tickets to United and you sell it through your site. So rather than, having to sign up, registered so many different accounts and then, trying to find what section, us fans are going to be in as well. So I think we'll get there. It might just take, maybe a couple of seasons for that all to be implemented. To say it's not, an instant fix, as they say.
For sure. So let's just have a quick look at what some of the other guys have been saying. John reckons that it will happen because Emma Hayes has said so, and if she says so, it's bound to happen. So John Commode there showing deference to the Chelsea manager. Lansell, even the players love playing in those games, agrees with John. TJ wants to grow the game. Kerr did clap us at the game, and Lansell, you were spot on, and as she walked past, we clapped her back. There was a lovely bit of mutual respect there, actually, and I know that we talk a lot about rivalries. I think, actually, that is one of the great things when you can appreciate that she is just a really good striker, and we're just really good fans. So that's a good thing. Sporty Chatbox update. He reckons that if Batlle wants regular first-team games, he would expect Rambo to be number 2 to Earps. Lansell's mentioning to Newcastle, their women's team became full-time next year, so imagine the fan base there. They are very good, the Geordies supporting their side. That's all positives. Attendances have been growing, TJ. Stuart Beatty says we need to beat Liverpool next season, home and away. So I'm going to ask you all one last question just before we finish off. We've got Liverpool coming. We've got City coming. We've got Chelsea. We've got Arsenal. Which of those games do you think, in the Manchester United history and tradition, is the biggest one for us to play in the women's game? Does it stick with the men's rivalries? What do you think? Which one of those teams is the one you're most looking forward to and should be our biggest rivalry that we should be looking at in this? Ellie, I'm going to let you start.
Liverpool. I think Liverpool. That'll be such a good game, and we need to play at Old Trafford. That's all I'm saying. Old Trafford.
Okay. So do you think that's the biggest rivalry because purely Man United and Liverpool despise each other because we're so successful, and that's carried over from the men's game? Or is it to do with the women and the fact that they've just won the championship and we want to put them back into their place? What say you?
I think both of them really, because we want to follow it from the men's as well. Like, obviously they don't like each other anyway, but also because they've just won the championship, we want them to not be in the top 3 or something. We want them to show who actually rules the WSL. So this is what I mean. We could be fighting for that top 3 spot next season, and then show them what we're really made of. So then they'll be like, "Oh no, we're scared of you." Yeah, we're so scared of you. That's what I want next season. So I think that's going to be a big rivalry.
Well, the footballing gods have heard you, Ellie. So let's hope they listen. Andrew, what say you? Biggest match?
I was going to say it's always Liverpool for me. I just think that's coming from the men's side. It's like when this, the fixtures announced for the season, it's probably one of the first ones I look for. Is like when are we playing them home and away? And I think it's good to see Liverpool back in the WSL. That rivalry is there, and so as Ellie said, we sort of Liverpool are a bit an unknown quantity, so we don't want to start challenging us for those Champions League places. We sort of want to keep them below us. So it's always Liverpool for me. It's the biggest rivalry in English football. So let's hope it's 2 good games we have against them next season.
It was a bit of a damp squib, really, wasn't it, when we went up, because Liverpool pretty much capitulated. There didn't seem to be much going on. They just finished bottom and went down. Obviously, we haven't seen them thanks to COVID. Now they're back up. They've got their tails up. It should be a great match. And I agree with Ellie. I think that should be the Old Trafford game, but it should also be the Anfield game, because I reckon you will get serious numbers for that. John, what is it for you?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, obviously, more recently, it's on the pitch. It's been sort of City with being, similar sort of position in the league. But I agree with the guys really that it is really Liverpool. It'll be when we play them this season. Obviously, we've not played them for a while, and obviously they've been going through a tough time and a rebuild. So it'll be interesting to see how the rivalry develops next season. Really, I'm quite looking forward to see how it goes, and hopefully it'll be a really feisty game and good atmosphere.
Absolutely. I think it'll be amazing. I think you're quite right. To me, it's the Liverpool one in terms of carrying over from the men's game. But I think if you're looking for a rivalry that's happening at the moment in the WSL, I think that one against City is the big one for next season, because we're going to need to show what we're made of, I think, on that one. But, guys, I think we've reached that time. Have we got anything in the comments quickly from there? Got to be the derby, says TJ. But our first win over Chelsea will be historic, and he's not wrong. Sporty Chats box is not sure who will come in. Just need to ensure depth to quality in the squad, not merely replacing any departures. The established 3 have at least 2 quality players per position, which is right. Connor's saying things that he can tell me later. The panel have been brilliant. You're quite right. Thank you very much for being here. We've got no football on Sunday. We've got the FA Cup finals to look forward to. But no Man United. Ellie, what are you going to do? Are you off shopping? Are you going to be playing football yourself? What are you going to do?
I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go insane. I actually am on Sunday morning. But you know what? I'll just go in the garden in my football kit and just play football myself, I think. And obviously, I might watch the FA Cup, because there's no United on, is there? So, I mean, I'm just looking forward to the Euros, Tim. That's all I've got. Euros and then the new season.
Sounds like a detox weekend for me. Andrew, do you have anything special?
Well, so having to isolate, so I'll probably end up watching both FA Cup finals, the men's and the women's Sunday. So yeah, it's probably largely my weekend. So
absolutely. Well, I hope it's not you that's got it, is it? Or you've got unlucky. Well, take a box of tissues to bed, blow your nose often, and drink lots of water. And we hope you get better soon. And John, what's your plans for this weekend?
FA Cup finals, and looking forward to the start of the Euros, I think.
Absolutely. I think we're all in the same place. So, guys, thank you very much. It's been brilliant to have you, Ellie, Andrew, and John. Thank you so much. I hope you all enjoyed this one. I'm going to be going for a well-earned drink, I think, right now, because this is a lot harder than people make it look. That's for sure. Coming up tomorrow, Benny and Matt will be back for Saturday Night Live. It's not the proper one from America, but it's pretty good. So tune in, see what you can do with that one. We discussed a lot today. Ona Batlle, is she coming back? I think the panel says yes. Senior Bruun, is she coming back? Let's hope so. Carna Solskjaer, wish her well. We know how good she's going to be. Will Rambo be our new goalkeeper? Probably not, but will she be a good backup? Absolutely. We've discussed who we're going to bring in and the places we need to go. We've decided whether we want home ends, away ends. We've chewed the fat over whether or not we're going to be able to cover those problems that we've had where we just conceded goals at the end. We've done all of that. Has it made a difference? Not really, but we've enjoyed it. We hope you have too. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.